So here we are, August 2025. Critics keep screaming Russia is winning the war in Ukraine. But let's be honest, both Russia and Ukraine are basically racing to see who can bankrupt their country first. Here enters Donald Trump. While everyone else is yelling, he is actually pitching a peace deal first. No more fake ceasefires. Ceasefires are like duct tape on the leaking dam. Trump wants a real deal. Full-blown peace. That's it for everybody in the world to stop this senseless war. Second, the Donbass question. Europe shouts borders must not change. Meanwhile, their grocery prices change every single week because when the two warring parties are actually hitting each other the way you see them fighting to their death, they have to concede something in order for peace to reign. Third, NATO membership, not today. Trump says security guarantees, yes. NATO, maybe later. $4 over soldiers, no endless deployment. Instead, America invests in Ukraine's rare earth minerals and Russia's sweat. But look at the critics' faces. I am seeing them every day on TikTok shouting, Zelensky storms. But this is not the peace plan, according to Zelensky. Europe witness, those ones are sitting on the bench, always giving idea without taking a solid steps towards this issue. They are shouting for sovereignty. Twitter warriors chant, Russia is winning. Really? Winning at what? Turning rubles into monopoly money? Okay, here is the scoreboard. Forget about whether it is monopoly or not. Russia inflation is climbing higher than Putin's bollocks bills. Ukraine's budget barely breathing on Western loans, and both sides keep launching missiles like Pokemon cards, except each one costs $1 billion. Trump's bottom line, a quick lasting peace. Donbass on the table, NATO off the table. Not now, but maybe later on. And US dollars, where it hurts Russia most, they don't use US dollars anymore. So the international transaction is becoming so hard, and economy is running so difficult for an ordinary Russians. I'm telling you that some few days ago, some Russians were stealing meat on the shelves. It's becoming so wild in that country. So while the critics cry and the economy fry, Trump's the only one actually trying to end the war. Online ignorant news warlords say Trump fails, though where is the referee? Even if it was a competition. Peace over poverty, Trump the deal maker. And he is running it on what he knows how to do the best. Listen to Marco Rubio on Sky News, the U.S. Secretary of State. As Vladimir Zelensky is visiting the White House to discuss further after Trump-Putin summit in Alaska. And Vladimir Zelensky is visiting the White House with his European partners as to keep on talking so that they can have some conversations and get back to the Russian authorities on what side are they deciding on in order to go ahead with the peace deal.
Joining me now is the U.S. Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, who was also on the trip to Alaska with President Trump and who will be there tomorrow with President Trump and Zelensky at the White House. Mr. Secretary, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Why did President Trump's meeting with Putin end with no ceasefire? And what does Putin want?
Yeah, well, a couple things. First of all, if you recall, there's no way you can have a meeting like that. And we never said there was going to be a deal coming out of the meeting because the Ukrainians are not there. This is a war between two countries. It's not America. It's Ukraine and Russia. We met with the Russian side. We've spoken repeatedly with the Ukrainian side. We'll see them again tomorrow in person, along with our allies in Europe. So I do think some progress was made in that talk in terms of narrowing down the issues set. And now these are hard issues that remain. You know, the conversation about where the territorial lines are going to be, questions about long-term security guarantees and who Ukraine can have military alliances with, things like that. These are difficult things, but I do believe we made progress in narrowing down the issue set, but there's a lot of work that remains. There's a reason why this war has been going on for 3.5 years. It's a war that never would have happened had President Trump been president, but he inherited it, and now he's trying to do everything he can to bring about peace. He's made peace a priority of his administration, as you've seen with all the peace deals we've been able to achieve throughout the world. This one's the hardest one. Everyone acknowledges that. But he's the only one in the world that has any chance of doing it. Look, peace may not be possible at the end of the day. We don't know. But if it is possible, he's the only one that can get it done. And that's why everyone's asking him. They're asking him to meet with Putin. And they're also asking him to come here tomorrow and meet with him to talk further about what we do next.
A European diplomat has confirmed to Fox that President Trump supports Putin's proposal for Russia to take full control of Luhansk and Donetsk, all of Donbass. Do you support this move?
No, first of all, I don't know who told you that, but they don't know what they're talking about. I mean, the president has said that in terms of territories and stuff, these are things that Zelensky's going to have to decide on. These are things that the Ukrainian side is going to have to agree to. That's all the president is trying to do here is narrow down the open issues, narrow them down, and then see if we can play some role in bringing that closer together so we can stop and end this war once and for all. Look, this war is only going to get worse. It's not going to get better. You've seen that in the escalation and the attacks. Russia's economy is now 100% full-time war footing. They are producing munitions. The Ukrainians are as well. Both sides are hitting each other very, very hard. And the war is only going to get worse. It's not going to get better. So he's trying to do everything he can to bring it to an end. But people that are out there talking what they don't know with all these stupid leaks and things of that nature, they all want to just sound important. They don't know what they're talking about. The president's been very clear. In terms of like what Zelensky's going to agree to, that's up to them to decide. They're going to have to decide what they're willing to give, and ultimately what they're going to get, what they're going to demand as well. Both sides are going to, but here's what I can tell you for certain: you can't have a peace deal between two warring factions unless both sides agree to give up something, and both sides agree that the other side gets something. Right? Otherwise, if one side gets everything they want, that's not a peace deal. It's called surrender. And I don't think this is a war that's going to end anytime soon on the basis of surrender. So this is tough stuff. I mean, it's difficult to bring these two sides together. We made some progress, we believe, and now we'll have to follow up on that progress. And ultimately, where this should lead is to a meeting between the three leaders, between Zelensky, Putin, and President Trump, where we could finalize it. But we got to get this thing closer before we get to that point.